branch. It will more. It will
I think the problem is this, Jake. Why do you have
Jesus
vagina?
Christ! Why do you guys let Branch just go off like this?
Yeah,
He's just making noise.
So Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, of course.
So you got this guy looking. You got a guy looking at the underside of this bridge, right?
Yep.
Now you have arbitrarily drawn a diagonal line from the top of the bridge to the ground that represents nothing in reality. And then you have inscribed those points on the bridge directly below them onto that diagonal line, and asserted that for some reason, if you're viewing those points under the bridge, that you will instead see their imaginary position on an invisible, arbitrary hypotenuse. Please demonstrate that that is in any way related to reality.
That's a very interesting take on things, Phil. But can you answer me a question?
Sure.
Do we see in Euclidean physical geometry, or do we see in perspective vision?
I don't give a fuck about your word salad. Please explain to me what that imaginary hypotenuse represents.
You don't know what Euclidean means. You keep on using the word without knowing what it means.
You tell me that
those two are, by the way, the same thing as far as I'm concerned. So we see in both. There is no disconnect.
So we see in both, huh?
Yeah. Yes, they show the exact same thing.
So there's no difference between what we see and Euclidean geometry.
Brendan, if you go and you do experiments under a long hallway or a tunnel or a bridge, you will see that it will always, those angles that you measure in that tunnel will always correspond to your dotted lines and never to your solid lines.
The solid lines are nothing. They are arbitrary, absolutely arbitrary bullshit. They don't relate to reality in any way.
Physical reality will adhere to the solid lines. I agree.
Tell me what that solid line represents.
Or I mean the dotted lines. They will adhere to the dotted line.
What is that diagonal
That's how you will
line
build something.
What is that diagonal line, that hypotenuse that goes from the ground to that first position?
The Euclidean physical geometry of the situation for the man.
Use some words and explain that bullshit.
Okay. All right. There are two parallel lines in this picture. One is the bridge and one is the ground.
The ground is completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant to this measurement.
No, it's not, Phil. That's how we see. It's all relative to the ground.
We don't see the horizon at that bottom line either.
Exactly. Thank you, Zanuck.
And below it.
Yeah. Zanuck, by the way,
you just debunked.
ToyBrandon.
What
no, I did not debunk.
Your picture is wrong
observation
also.
Point, the
how is my
picture
wrong, Lori?
And level.
Shouldn't the perspective, because you mentioned the ground, why isn't the ground ramping up? It should be ramping up. Like, this is a clear oversight that you didn't take into account. Why the fuck didn't you take that into account?
No,
yeah, exactly. So you admit that you're a dumbass. Thank you.
Is that what I just did?
Yes. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all.
Or more like this, Lori.
The further that you can see, and the corkscrew begins to happen, where the top crosses the middle and the bottom crosses the middle and the top. Does it like twist to the right clockwise, or does it corkscrew to the left like counterclockwise in your vision? How does that work?
Hey, Curved, when you shove something up your ass, does it hurt more at the start or at the end?
You should actually be able to answer because you have that Pacific.
He was going to answer. Your ass. He was going to answer
incredibly
your question, and then Curve jumped in and acted like Branch. Now we muted Branch.
While I do appreciate your concern with my ass, I am also deeply disturbed by it, Brandon. Perhaps you could find other things to focus your attention on other than my ass.
Can we get back to the
I'd like you to notice on screen that this is slide 98. This is slide 98 of my thoughts. And I'm presenting it to you, and you have not presented a single fucking piece of evidence to me.
You're wrong about everything that you say and do. What's going on here?
Yeah,
you stating
Brandon,
that everybody's wrong is not
the
true.
amount of
Sorry.
evidence that you present counts for nothing if every piece of evidence that you give us is bullshit.
Hey, Lori,
It's
do we see in
like saying
perspective
it's like
view, or
it's
do
like
we
saying
see
to
in
someone
Euclidean physical view?
that's irrelevant. So
It
your
is,
argument
because
here
that's
is
what we're measuring.
I wasn't talking. You interrupted, and when you interrupt, whatever you say to interrupt is irrelevant.
Please continue.
So your argument, I've made 98 of these slides, I have to be correct, is the same as
No, that's not what I said,
someone,
you idiots.
I gave you 98 pieces of shit for Christmas, and you gave me just one chocolate, so I'm better than you.
How did you hear that out of that? Let me repeat what he said, because I'm the dumbass. He said he's presented 98 of his own theories and proofs, and y'all presented 0. He didn't say they were right. He said he's presented 98, and y'all presented none. That's what he said.
Yes,
So-
yes, and
Thank you,
my
Dave.
point
Are you
exactly.
persuaded by an avalanche of wrong, Baggy Life?
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Good story.
He presented
No
98
No one
pieces
has
of
shown
shit.
him how.
Why are you?
Yeah.
What we need.
You know, I
It's
can't
pussy.
answer every goddamn. There are other people here talking, Rakia.
Yeah.
You
In
guys
any case,
keep talking about this
I
shit.
have nothing to say on that
No,
one.
the problem is simply this: there is not enough pussy in this room.
There's enough if you are
actually,
here.
you know, he's got a point, actually.
Yeah, I agree with
But
because of fags like Rakia here.
Oh, Jesus Christ,
that. God, how old are you, bro?
What the fuck?
I don't know, man. This is getting.
Where are we?
Like,
when are we
they're
getting to the
losing it.
mountains?
Do you guys have a point against that? Is this how we see in the world? Yes or no?
Hey, Brandon, show your other slide. I want to show you something that will totally debunk it. Go back to the dotted and the solid line slide.
Okay.
Please do.
Jake, please don't say the ground doesn't.
This
have
is
an effect on it.
amazing.
Tell us another theory you don't believe, Dave.
Why are you jumping in, brother?
Because
Do you have anything to
they're
say?
getting some things together here. So there was some open air. I wanted to ask you to present another theory of yours that you don't believe.
What do you mean I don't believe? I didn't say
Well,
I
you're
didn't
the one
believe
that
it.
said you didn't believe your theory.
No. I said I couldn't
Can
empirically
you show that
prove it.
picture again for us, Brandon?
Yeah.
You also backed away and said
Which one are you talking about, Jake?
The one that had the
You're saying it
dotted
might
lines
be.
and the solid
Whatever,
lines
man.
under the bridge, or the whatever it was. It looked like a bridge.
All right, hold on. Here it is.
By the way, we are still talking to a guy who thinks that things are hidden behind the
Okay,
waves because
so
mountains.
if we think that reality is the solid lines, one of the things that we would see when we look down a long hallway, and I'm going to show you a picture in a second of the MGM hallways in Las Vegas, which has some of the longest hotel hallways in the world. You'll see that the evenly spaced ceiling lights, as you go up into the distance, the angle gets smaller and smaller between them, as they do in the dotted line picture, and not like the solid line picture where the angle is more or less the same going all the way into the horizon,
Great
and
point,
into the vanishing
Jake.
point.
Great point, Jake. Do you see these green lines? So from this person's perspective, as he's looking out at it flowing down, do you see these green lines? He sees from 0 to 1, it goes along this whole line, this green line. From 1 to 2, this green line. This is what he's seeing. And you see how it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as you go down?
No, the spacing is nearly the same.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? It goes like this. Ooh.
Yeah, there's a very small difference in those angles as you go off into the distance, as opposed to what we see, which is a very steep decrease in the
Jake,
angles.
is perspective the same? Jake, is perspective
what I
the
just
same
showed.
as
The
Euclidean
big
physical
showed.
geometry? Do we
Yes,
Euclidean
it is the same.
physical geometry?
Like, for example, if you want to determine how much your eyes or your optic or your telescope or anything is going to pitch up to look at something, you can plot it out. You can plot it out like those dashed lines, those dotted lines, and that will be the angle that you will actually have to tilt your head or your telescope to see that object. It will not correspond It will not correspond to the solid lines.
Jake, you can either
Look at that picture I showed you. Look at that picture I showed you. Those lights very quickly converge almost into the.
Chill out. Have fun.
Y'all unmuted Branch for what reason?
Because look,
to compete with your stupidity.
He's doing a good job.
You dumb fucks are seriously
You can't
sitting
approach
here
your stupidity.
talking some major shit about crap.
But he's the best.
Remember, Curve, this is your guy right here.
He's the dumbest we have, and he can't rival you, Rakia.
It's your guy, buddy.
And actually, the dumbest we have, Branch, is incredibly smarter than you.
Sounds like it.
He is. He is much smarter than you.
I'm sure he is.
Dave is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my whole life.
Wow. When did you turn so gay?
Honestly,
why do you always think of gay, Curve? You're weird,
well, because
man.
that is weird,
blowing you in front of all of us on mic.
You know I'm not gay, right?
I'm not gay either. I got 3 kids. 4.
If you guys aren't fucking gay, why do you spend your entire day talking to guys?
Yep.
I talked to a lot of women during my day. What does that have to do with anything? I'm riding around in my truck.
Where's the bitches in here? Hey, no. Where's the girls in here? Ran away out of her good sense. So where's the girls in here?
That makes you gay, by the way, Branch.
This is so stupid. You guys can't address the argument, so you're gonna call me and Dave gay.
We have addressed the argument.
You haven't. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've just said
you keep denying it.
What's the physical space is the
What's
same
the point of going over all this with
space.
you and explaining it to you when you're just going to deny it?
You haven't been told why you won't. I put a lot of effort into putting this shit together. Do you have a point?
Deny. That's all you do. You deny that it's been explained to you that you're wrong.
Gravity is seriously a thing. What?
Okay. That makes
sense.
So
anyway, let me show you guys something. This is how they turned the flat plane into the globe. You guys will like this.
Only that, do you have like any evidence for this bullshit?
All right,
ToyBrandon.
I'm presenting. Watch this. All right, here's what they did. The sight perspective base angles they turned into the ground. See that? Boom, boom, boom. You can see them move from one side to the other. It's very simple concept to understand. It's an occultist understanding of the world. You see that?
So what's the
Curve?
key
you should
argument?
Understand that because we have watch. Just watch. Oh, parallel lines coincide.
What is the key argument of
These
this slide?
are the sight lines to Polaris on the globe. This is how they took the ground and turned it into a curve. Boom!
I'm not sure if I'm seeing what
There's the man seeing it, and they wrapped it around the globe. Watch this. Boom.
Are you animating that, Brandon? Because I don't see the animation. Is there some animation, or is it just a static picture?
The wrong screen?
I can't see whatever you're doing.
Mine is showing loading. I don't know about you guys.
I was seeing it.
You saw it, Dave?
Okay, I see it now.
Okay, yeah, it's there now.
Probably a little lag. So that's it. This is the crux of our argument among allies, mind you. Curved is my ally. You guys are all allies. We are all allies in the same war, and we're arguing about what shape the ground is under us. And I'm telling you, this is the crux of the argument. How we see based versus Euclidean physical space-based interpretation of how we see. Period.
So what is that picture showing?
Is it the globe next to the picture of the globe?
Yeah, there's per
All right.
Peoria. I thought that was Persia. That's some Peoria. Why?
Okay.
Greenwich, center of the earth.
You see the latitude lines?
Yeah.
All right. You see all these sight lines in different colors around the globe?
What sight lines are those? Like
different
lines
colors.
to what?
Like pink, black, green.
Yes. But what sight lines are those?
Right.
Sight lines to what?
If you interpret the angles to Polaris as I'm on a sloped ground looking at something that's so far away that it's all parallel no matter where I'm standing on the ground, versus I am looking at something that's closer, and the closer I get to it, my perspective changes how it appears to me. You will conflate a flat plane with a globe. Period.
Not true.
That doesn't.
Why are you but why are you showing a globe with the normal latitude lines, and then you are showing a globe with the, like, you should be showing a flat plane with the, like, you are simply suggesting.
Look, here
lines to Polaris. That what you have drawn has no bearing on or relationship to reality.
None.
So
here
you
is
visualize.
Here is
Brandon,
what are you trying to pull? Here, Brandon,
based on linear one-point perspective, where it goes into a vanishing point. Here's the vanishing point.
Yeah, let's go back to the previous slide because we were still talking
are
about.
Are you hoping to get your fucking
ask everybody
eagle wings? Or
that is
do you think that's going to happen, dude?
Brandon, we need to go back to the previous slide because we were not ready with that yet. So why did you, if you were trying to show the globe model as we understand it, and then the observation lines by the flat Earth, why do you have just two globes there?
Let me do it again. Can you guys see what I'm presenting?
Hey, does the Indian Space Agency?
Neither of them represent what we actually see to Polaris.
Do you guys see a star?
With
that's
showing from 90 to 0, 180. Do you see that? All right, now watch. This is perspective based. What you're seeing now. I'm gonna move it to a globe.
This is alcohol based.
You go, curved.
Brandon, I'm not sure.
This is your
Congratulations.
80th proof.
Watch.
80 proof right here.
Brandon, I'm not sure if we're seeing the same thing that you're trying to.
It's just loading right now, Brandon. It's just lagging.
Yeah, it shows a huge globe and a person beside it trying to watch
No.
Post a screenshot so everybody doesn't have to join your fucking
that's
stream.
So much trouble to ask.
Post a
That's so much trouble, Curve. Oh, shit.
Your shit's not working. Just post a fucking screenshot.
Damn, Curve. Are you giving me a hug or something?
Curve needs a piece of chocolate cake.
Do you guys see these sight lines, these black lines moving over?
Sorry, I didn't want to offend you.
It's very simple.
Hope the chocolate cake.
It might be simply stupid, but I cannot comment on it because it's not shown.
I tell you what, Phil. Let's have a one-on-one Monday.
Are you talking to me now?
Oh, sorry. No, but actually, Lori said
have it now.
Phil, I would
have it now.
One-on-one.
No, you're here. You would interrupt it.
I would love
to
run
with
with you.
Phil can handle himself, but just fine.
I would love to come on your show and talk about rotation. You want to have a show on rotation?
Fucking A.
All right, let's do this. What day? Monday? You want to do a show on rotation?
Okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay.
All right, you better get your shit together, man.
I asked you not to use that money for beer.
Well, you remember when you sober up, Brad?
Dave, shut the fuck
up. You didn't listen.
I didn't use that money.
I know, but you know, so to speak.
When are we getting to the mountains?
Are you really still caught up on the mountains, Lori?
Yes,
come on, man.
It was such a stupid argument that I have to keep bringing it up. Like you seriously think that things disappear behind the waves because magical mountains.
Show me a distance on Earth that's what is the equator circumference? 24,900 miles.
Logical rule that says that when a thing disappears behind a mountain, thing disappears behind the waves, that's because of mountains. Show me how that's logical.
So 24,500, let's call it 25,000 miles. That's what, 12.5, 6.25 thousand miles, 9,000 kilometers. Show me a distance.
What are you calculating?
Just doing it off my head. I'm not looking at anything, but
that's about 10,000 kilometers. Then
it's 10,000 kilometers. Okay, yeah, 40,000, right? So a quarter, 10,000 kilometers. Show me that distance without a drastic change in elevation, and show me a picture from that non-drastic change in elevation of the sun going behind the curve.
Brandon, you're not really getting my argument.
Yeah, I heard that pretty good.
Brandon, there being a mountain there doesn't mean that it's aimed to argue that the mountain is the reason for the disappearance. For example,
there are people right
Donald Trump is the president of the United States, right?
Let's do this. Yes,
but there is also a president in Finland. Because you cannot deny that there is a president in Finland. The president in Finland is the reason why Donald Trump is the president in the United States.
Terrible.
What?
Okay, that was terrible.
That's fucking hilarious,
what
yo.
the fuck was that?
I'm just gonna say that was bad.
I can simplify this for you. Fact
Please
is
don't.
that has
Please
nothing to do.
He said no.
An indisputable fact doesn't necessarily mean the argument makes sense. For example, if I say, "Is there a cat next to me?"
Right.
That might be an indisputable fact that I have a cat, but I cannot just argue that, okay, because you cannot deny there is a cat. Let's say the cat causes the stars in the sky. You cannot deny the cat, therefore the stars in the sky are because of the cat. So what Brandon is doing, I cannot, even if I cannot deny that there are mountains there, that doesn't necessitate that the sun disappears because of the mountains. So that logical step that these mountains actually cause the disappearance is something that Brandon has to prove, and he cannot do that. And he isn't stepping up.
What are you
So
on?
can
Can
you-
I have some, please? This is really amazing. That's freaking some crazy thought. And I can actually argue that that cat is next to you if we want to argue about it. I mean, you can argue about anything because that's what the server does. You argue about bullshit all day long. But in reality, your hypothetical situation, theoretical, whatever you want to freaking call it, I don't care. It's stupid. What the heck are you talking about smoking?
It's a logical argument.
Yeah. So who is it speaking with the feminine voice? Because I'm very interested in what she has to say, Lori, and you should be too.
You're just
want logic. I don't want some nonsense. I want reality, not some BS. Let's all be serious and actually honest. That it could be what he's saying, but
my
you just
point
think
is
it can't
simply
be
this.
because, you know, it's that.
My point is simply this. You cannot assume, Brandon, that the mountains are the reason. You assume that the mountains are the reason, right? Can you prove that?
You were trying to falsify the fact that the sun wouldn't go behind something on a flat plane. My point was,
yes,
and you always going to be a higher elevation.
What about
you assumed, Brandon, that it was the mountains? Can you prove that it was the mountains?
Give me a break, Lori. That you're reaching so far.
No, but can you prove that it was the mountains? Yes or no?
Can you prove it's not the mountains?
That's not the point. You were
no. It is a point.
Brandon,
if you're gonna
Brandon
wait. If you're gonna make him prove that it is or isn't the mountains, then how can you? You do the same thing.
All right, show me the mountains between the sun and the people in South America who in a little while are going to be seeing sunset. It's going to be after sunset and the sun will be down and there are no mountains between them and the sun. So what is your point?
mountains.
Between you and the sunset,
Yeah.
show me an 10,000 kilometer curve.
It's
10,000 kilometers
nothing but ocean,
where
dude.
there's not
Nothing
an
but
elevation
ocean.
increase
and
between
nothing
you
but
and
ocean,
where the
Brandon.
sun is setting.
Brandon, do you understand the words "nothing but ocean"? Make whatever
Are you
elevation
denying
change you want
perspective?
from
Okay.
that.
Show me a 10,000 kilometer ocean.
I already
You've
did
gotta
that,
be
Brandon.
kidding me.
So did you look that up? I showed you that, Brandon. Are you ignoring what I'm showing you?
Are you guys going to
this
address
case
the
has been
arguments
dealt
that I
with.
just made with these slides? Or are you guys
So,
going to fucking
Brandon,
detract with this bullshit?
Indonesia to
your
Ecuador,
slides
Brandon.
have been
How much
destroyed.
is the
You're
distance?
wrong.
No, they
Indonesia
haven't.
to
You
Ecuador, Brandon.
And you deny
Indonesia
it.
to
And so why
Ecuador,
continue to destroy it?
11,000 kilometers.
You're just
Indonesia
going to
to
continue to
Ecuador,
deny it. That you've already
11,000
been explained
kilometers,
why you're
Brandon.
Show
wrong.
me a picture.
Now you
you hear that
11,000
person talking?
I hear Brandon talk.
11,000
I can't hear
miles,
anything
Brandon.
because everybody's
Yeah,
talking
you
over one
want to
another.
hear
It's
Lori. I know
second.
you're dying to hear Lori.
Well,
Go ahead.
you obviously
calm
you
down,
obviously heard
you
Lori
badass.
talking then because you knew who was talking, right, Kurt?
Brandon was talking,
Liar.
so I was responding to Brandon.
No, you heard Lori talking too. Y'all both talked over him.
Oh,
You
well,
just
then
lied
why
about
aren't you
it.
getting on Brandon about
I
talking
was
over
seeing
Lori?
if you
then?
would lie about it. You did.
I didn't lie about it.
Yeah, you did. You
Uh,
said you didn't hear
let's
nobody.
not
Then you
do
said it was
feelings.
Lori.
I did
Feelings
not
are for
lie
men
about
now?
anything.
So
God,
you
you're
didn't hear it.
Brandon,
desperate too.
I'm
I will let
desperate.
this mountain thing go.
Why?
But on
I
one
don't give a shit if you
condition.
let it go.
If you answer, yes, but if you answer, how much distance is there between Ecuador and Indonesia?
Show me a
And
picture
if
of the
there's a mountain
sunset between Ecuador
that
and
you're
Indonesia.
deflecting, Brandon. So what is the distance?
No, I'm asking for evidence.
You are deflecting, Brandon.
No,
What
that
is
is
the distance
asking
between
for
Ecuador?
evidence. That
No,
is
that
part
is
of
deflecting.
science.
I
Lori,
asked for the
you
distance
know that
between
science
Ecuador.
is
I do not need
trust,
Brandon.
but
I do not
confirm.
need
You
a
know that's the heart of science. Give
Brandon.
me a break, dude.
Do you really think that your question is logical? I asked for the distance between Ecuador
Now you're just
and
throwing
Philippines. Do you really think that a
CNN.
picture of the sunset is going to prove that distance? You fucking idiot. I
What?
asked you for the
Oh,
distance.
there we
The
go,
sunset
Lori.
picture
There's your
has
real
nothing to
thoughts.
do with it. So again, Brandon, what is the distance? How
Lori,
much distance? Because
show
you
me
asked,
some fucking.
Brandon,
Show me the money, motherfucker.
Brandon, you asked
Brandon, there's
for
an image for
a
you.
10,000 mile. You asked
No,
for
I
a
said
10,000 mile
10,000
ocean. I
kilometer.
am showing, yeah,
That's not
10,000
flat waters,
kilometer.
Dick. That's not flat waters.
It's 17,840 kilometers between Indonesia and Ecuador. The sunset, the picture to sunset is your trying to deflect from your bullshit.
No. Show me a
So
picture.
how much is the distance? I need
Share
you
a
to give me the
picture.
distance back.
Share
How
a
much distance
picture.
it is between Ecuador and Indonesia? What is the distance, Brandon? Then we can move on to the
Step
picture.
1.
What is the distance?
Show
Look
me
it
a
up.
picture of what you're talking
Brandon,
about.
The
A
people
real
of the
observation.
can you admit that the distance is more than your bullshit requires it to be?
Show me a
So
picture of your
what
observation
is
you're talking about, Lori.
what is the distance, Brandon?
Do you not understand how
This
science
is the
works?
last
You
time I'm
science
asking you,
denier.
Brandon. This
This
is the
is the
last time
last
I'm asking
time
you,
I
Brandon.
say it.
Lori,
I
please,
don't
fucking
have
time.
patience for science
go to your room.
deniers.
This is pretty pathetic how hard he's
Yeah.
deflecting.
Is that Negator?
Yeah, so
Brandon,
we can conclude
Mr.
that Brandon
Butt
cannot
Fingers
answer
in
the
the
simple
house.
question. I have
Look
shown
at
him.
that
I
fucking
have
thing
shown
on
him
my
a
sleeve.
ocean
wanted to
that's
see that
bigger
much
than his
ocean
theory
between
would
sunset
have
and the
to.
sun.
Yeah.
So, are you going to dispute what I posted, Brandon?
Are you sharing it?
Yeah, I already did, but I couldn't get your
He
attention.
posted a
Too many
cartoon. He
people had
didn't
a
post a
fucking
picture.
connection about it. Scroll up a little bit. Look at that picture from time and date.
No,
Look at the sunset there on the coast of South America. Look at the sun.
that's
Tell me the mountains between.
a depiction
Okay.
on a piece
This
of
is a
paper.
occurring in a little while here, a little later today.
All right. As I always do, I'm going to look at what evidence you have to present because I don't live in an echo chamber and I'm looking.
You don't live in
I'm in
echo chamber, okay?
So
the guy who hosts.
Just take a look at it. It should be clear to you. You see where it's after sunset in South America there. You can be on the shore. You're at water level. And the sun is over there. Where's the mountains between?
Yeah, like fucking. Okay.
Did demand show me 10,000 kilometers? Did you not?
Can I not see a cartoon and I can ask you a piece of realistic shit? That's just some cartoon shit.
Cartoon fucking argument.
Hold on, female. Go ahead. Excuse me.
Accurate information.
I just don't. I mean, you want me to look at something, I'll take it seriously. But if you're going to give me a cartoon, then I don't want to see it.
You sound like a silly little spoiled fucking
twat. Shut the fuck up and go back to bed.
Oh, they will never accept what you have to say. These guys are misogynist, globist, blah, 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 blah.
Nothing misogynist about it. She's got to pipe up with her fucking her and the idiot Rex.
By the way,
you don't know any other fucking reputation of this but the scream cartoon.
This is your proof,
Kurt? You're fucking retarded.
Listen,
there is nothing misogynist on treating a woman that's acting stupid as if
what
she's
do you
acting
have
stupid.
to say about it, Brandon?
No. I was acting fine until somebody wants to get all aggressive.
Y'all don't.
That's the problem, Kurt.
So you think that this does not accurately model reality?
I don't have a problem with you, Stacey.
I don't have an opinion on this fucking cartoon you have.
Just countering his point.
Oh, you're
show me the
proof.
Show me the evidence.
Okay. Dude, that is correct information. That is a depiction of reality.
A depiction of reality. Where is reality? Can I get a real picture?
It's proven time and time again, day after day after day.
It's a render. It's a render. It's a cartoon.
The information is accurate.
It's a render. It's information is accurate from a render
accurate.
cartoon. Can I see reality?
Can I see reality? Is accurate. Yeah, say something true.
Prove it.
Prove it is not a true statement, you dumb bitch.
But just because you state something doesn't make it true either, Curve.
What
just because
both
you
of you
state it
cunts
doesn't mean it's real.
Broken toys.
Hey, Scott, you gonna allow this shit to go on, Scott?
It's okay, honey. I can call everything under the sun. It's all good.
This is how this server's run?
Maybe you're fatigued, Curved. I don't know, bro.
Maybe I'm sick of you fucking retards parading around like you fucking.
We own the show now, brother. Get used to it. We ain't going nowhere. So this is your pitiful life for the next years until you see what we see.
The
big
and more.
We ain't going nowhere.
You're going straight to hell.
No, we ain't going nowhere.
You're going to the buffet,
no,
you fat
sir.
retard.
Fully funded and full of joy, ready to go every day, 24/7.
We put our money where
like you are. It sounds like you lose your cool every time someone says that opposes you.
Every time.
It sounds like you're spiraling, brother, like you're losing it.
The stupidity of
it's what happens when people come in here and lie all day, over and over, every
losing
day.
It. That's all y'all have.
Every single day.
Others,
it's the same lie over and over again.
Yeah, same people calling other people
liars. It does get old.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know who we call liars?
Liar. See, y'all are trying to
people lie.
We
call them liars.
You
are a liar,
bro. Hey, call me one more time.
You know why you're a liar? Because you lie all the time.
It's so pitiful.
That's why you get called a liar.
I'm lying about.
Because you lie.
I'm driving a black Denali right now.
You earned
I'm
the
driving a
fucking
black
title.
Denali right now, going to pick up a check. I just
earned
picked up another check.
You are a liar
right now.
Listen,
you're a liar.
If it's not a debate,
you're a
right, server?
fucking liar.
No, he doesn't debate. All
and you're a
actual discussion, Kurt, because you're breaking the fuck down like a little
all
pussy.
He does is anytime someone makes a point, he steps in,
Bullshit.
calls it stupid and
All
wrong.
you do is just scream cartoon when somebody shows you what you wanted to see.
You call me a liar, you call me stupid, you called her
Yep.
the
You are
stupid.
cunt.
It's all
you
you
are
do.
stupid.
Don't worry, Dave. You're a bitch.
She is.
Yeah,
She
right.
is.
Y'all know where I'm at.
You're
Don't worry,
pathetic.
Dave. You're a bitch too,
See,
buddy. It's okay.
See, you're that guy. Let me explain something. You're that guy in school that bullied people like Stacy, and I took you out back in the woodshed.
That never happened.
And then I
That's a
helped
nice
you up.
fantasy.
Look, and then I helped you up.
That's good
and
delusion.
dusted you
Never
off,
happened,
and
Ricky.
as soon as you
Ricky, who are you trying
attacked her
to get
again
right now?
and bullied someone else,
Hey,
I took
you
you
that
out back
little
again,
retard
boy.
faggot.
Yeah,
You have
right.
no idea what you're
I
talking
won't-
about.
Wow.
Did you go to
He's trying to white knight so
Wow.
hard.
Did you go to
Now
school with
you're
me,
bullying
bitch?
him.
Yeah,
He's
now
trying
you're
to
trying
white
to
knight
bully
so
me.
hard.
Ricky is trying to
Now
bully
you're
me, bitch.
bullying me. Yeah.
Ricky is trying to bully
No,
me.
He's trying to white
I'm
knight.
Make
not.
him
No,
up the
he's
story.
calling you out for
Hold
being
on, that's exactly
sexual
right. Ricky is
libertarian.
making false accusations
love.
about me
You called
and what I did.
You
Making
called
up
that
stories
lady
about
a
what I did
bitch.
in high school.
You called
I
her a
didn't bully
D-word,
people.
and if I was near you,
I
I'd
never
take care
fucking
of it
bullied
myself.
anybody in high school.
Rakia, it's okay,
I
dude.
never
You
bullied
called a
anybody, you
lady
fat
a
retard
B-word.
faggot.
Rakia,
never
you're a
bullied
bitch too.
Called
It's
her
okay.
a bitch in
See
front of
why I call
everybody.
you a liar,
If
Ricky?
we were man to man
See
right
why I
now,
call
I'd
you
take
a
you
liar?
out back.
Because you're
Just
a
for
liar.
that.
Hey,
You won't
Buffingers,
take me
get your
anywhere,
team
you
under
fat
control.
Well,
This
yes,
is
I would.
hilarious.
I'm going to tell you right now, you
Oh
call
my
any
God.
woman around me a bitch while I'm in
Out of
prison,
control,
you're
brother.
done,
in
buddy.
the bitch, Rakia.
You're done.
Okay?
I
No, you're a
don't
bigger
care.
cunt.
Forget those fucking.
I
You're a
don't
bigger
care.
cunt.
I
But
don't
that
care
does
if she
not
is or
negate the
not.
fact that
If
she
you
is.
call her one in
You're
my
a bigger
presence,
cunt,
you're
Rakia.
going down, boy.
You think.
Yeah,
Such
oh, I
big talk,
know.
man.
No,
Such big
I'm not
talk.
a big dog. You think it
Go
takes
ahead.
a big dog to call a lady a bitch on Discord?
A
Are you
lady.
Rakia, you're a
kidding me?
bitch too. It's okay, buddy.
That's a big. I've never done that, and I
You're
never
a big
will.
bitch,
That's such a
Rakia.
loser.
Thank you.
He is
Yeah.
such
You're
a
a bigger
loser
bitch.
to sit here and call a lady that.
Dave's white
That is
knighting so hard, man.
Yeah, I'm a white knight. I'm gonna protect
Yeah,
a
you
woman.
are.
A woman is a beautiful creature and deserves to be protected by a creep like that.
You hear that, Stacy?
Can I say
defend her.
something, please?
I
You
will
can't, you
defend
can't protect
say
yourself,
something?
Stacy.
No,
He needs to
she
protect
can
you.
protect herself
I
just
could
fine.
definitely protect
But she
myself.
has
no, he
earned
needed
her
to step
right.
up
She has
and
earned
scream
the
into
right
the
as a
microphone.
woman. She has earned the right as a
Why
woman
did
to
Dave
be
have to
defended
scream
by
into the
every man
microphone if you
around
don't need?
her from creeps like Curve. And I will
She's a
defend a
nagging
woman because she
bitch.
deserves it.
She's a
Hiding
nagging,
behind this guy.
disingenuous bitch. What's the
Yeah,
big deal?
listen to you, buddy. Listen
Stacy,
to you. That's all you
The
have.
most important question is simply this: can you do the hula hoop?
Is that any of your business, or
That's
you're
a
too
good
stuck
point,
in your
Brad.
head because you really need a woman
no,
back?
it's because trying to lighten shit up, and can you or can you not do it?
Anyway, let's get back to realistic stuff that I was talking about, right? A render cartoon, it blew him up, and every name has to be called under the sun just because I said a cartoon, which it really is, right? Can we all verify that?
Not a
So
cartoon.
why did I get called a bitch? Why did I get called a cunt? And why did I get called all the
Because
names?
you
You just
acting
get
like
pissed at
one. It's
Rakia for
okay.
defending me, but I just for stating the
Buffy,
facts?
stop,
Not a
dude.
cartoon.
He's not white knighting. He's actually being a man.
No, he's
Maybe you could learn something from him,
you
some of you
can't
guys.
defend yourself, so he had to step up
Hey,
and defend
Jim
you.
Scott,
It's okay.
let
He thinks the women
I
are
keep
inferior
defending
according
myself
to
against
Bible,
Jim
so he
Panda.
has to
Jim
step
Panda
up
ain't
and
even tell
defend
you
you.
different. Shut the fuck up. Get a
It's
life.
okay. He thinks that women are inferior. He has to step
Equal
up.
fights, equal rights,
That's
equal
what
fights.
his Bible
Right
says.
Now, respect the
I
mouth on
never
that
said
lady.
women are inferior, and I never will, but I will
Then
defend
you
them.
would
you
then
just
you would
did.
No
punch
one
somebody
thinks
to,
that.
for
That's what a
for
man
calling her a
does.
bitch.
That's what a man doesn't
Yeah,
call a woman a bitch.
man.
A man takes care of another man calling a woman a bitch.
Equal
And I'll
rights,
do that.
equal left, buddy.
Yeah, whatever.
Equal rights, equal
Thanks
fights.
for playing, Dave.
What's your plan? You're gonna stand by and let somebody just call women names and no big deal,
Actually,
right?
you're being a sexist,
No,
dude,
no,
and a
no,
virtue
hold
She's
signaler.
a she's
That
a
has
bitch.
nothing
You
to
take
do with
care of her.
sexism.
You're being the sexist, really,
Not
because you're
being
acting as
sexist
if she can't
at
defend
all.
herself. Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
never said she can't
Just
defend it,
because
but she deserves others to defend her
Then you
too, and
had to
I
step
will.
up, right?
Yeah,
Since
I
she's not
Maybe
an
we
will.
should
adult,
listen
she
to
can't
Yeah,
her
that's
and
what
see
a
what
man
she has
does.
to say, you fucking assholes.
Stacy,
Let's hear what
Stacy,
she has to say.
We already
Stacy's a
did. It was
strong-
worthless.
That was the problem. That's what caused
Come
all
on,
this beef.
Buffy,
Use
fucking
your
Absolute
dumbass
figure
idiot.
yourself.
help her
Honestly.
out.
We heard her
Stacy's a
flap her
strong
gums. It was pointless.
No, it wasn't actually.
Yeah, well.
Stacy is a strong
You need to
woman.
turn your filter back on, Buffy.
Who are you talking to?
Mr.
Stacy,
Buffingers.
you know what we need? We need some evidence of your
Hank Branch, can we not
Does every sentence
there he
have to
is.
begin
He
before
turned his
another
filter
sentence
back
ends?
on.
I don't
Hey,
have
Sounds
would
like
you?
remember that movie with author that
Stacy,
what was it called?
Stacy,
The drunk dude.
Wait,
author?
okay, I'm
Negator.
sorry. I'm
They
sorry.
think that we're the same person.
I think they do. And Branch.
I think it's funny.
Oh, they're gonna talk about us like we're not in the fucking room now.
No, they
Listen,
think that we're
I hear my
over and
name,
over
but
again.
nobody can hear shit because you guys keep arguing. So what does somebody want?
Can we
Does somebody have a
listen
pet
to
walrus?
her opinion? Can we listen to that? Are you capable?
Wait,
of
hold on. I want to hear more about this filter that I use to sound like Negator.
Shut the fuck up.
Just more claims without evidence from idiots.
The question was supposed to Stacy.
Oh, fucking Branch. Why are you doing it?
Branch,
Can
can
you
please,
So what?
please,
It's
can you
already
please?
stupid enough in here.
Yeah, please.
Stacy, the
Branch.
question was simply this. Hula
Oh my
hoops.
gosh.
Please, Branch, please.
Yeah, come on, man. Look, before we go any further, Brandon, I'm Negator, and Black Death is not me.
Dude,
literally just got here.
You know I can
See you later. I'm Negator.
Less what you
Boom.
fucking say, Negator. And I told you you were fucking Negator, and your voice modulator is all fucked up right now. But let's hear what the female who is speaking her mind has to say, unless you are a fucking sexist pig. And
I haven't been here. I haven't said
good
a
one.
word.
Shut
the fuck up, though. Let's
right.
hear what she has.
Well,
to
no. Let's try to be a little bit more civil about this, okay?
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Shut up. With your calm, rational voice like you're somebody. Let
I mean,
the woman
I
speak,
am.
man.
Well,
Let the lady speak.
I just want to make sure y'all that
Yeah,
Black
don't
Death's
worry
not
about
me,
us.
right?
We're all good. All right. So Stacy wants to go ahead.
Man. Well, it's the same thing. It happens every time. And me and Jim Merkel, we talked about this earlier, but when people hear something they don't want to hear, like even if it's factual,
Oh,
like, hey, that's
shit, I thought she was
going
gonna
to
bring a
render,
flat earth model.
I
My bad.
can't actually, there is a flat earth model, by the way.
I got fucking
There's
confused.
not one. Of course. I
Can
understand.
you guys give her fucking
Yeah.
30 seconds? Jesus, you
But that's
fuck-
what I'm saying. This is what happens all the time, and they get all triggered. They go robotic. Oh, they break down, and they start calling names because they get personal. It's about feelings. I'm not in it for feelings, okay? We're in it to talk about reality and truth. I just wanted you to show me an actual realistic picture instead of a diagram cartoon. That's all I asked for. But you guys can't take that.
It's a good question. You
Didn't
guys
they show
got a
you a
realistic picture?
I like that.
Yes.
Okay. How do
Posted
you
about
determine whether or
10
not this picture is fake?
Ecuadorian sunsets while she was running her mouth.
Yeah, I
So-
also posted an Ecuadorian sunset.
Negator, your fucking voice modulator's all fucked up, dude.
I was watching
doesn't use
these
voice
guys
modulator,
post.
just give him a break.
I was watching
More
these two guys.
Give me a
post
break, Scott.
These posts while she was also.
Okay, so that's the
Tell
truth.
us about this voice modulator.
Shut the fuck
Well,
up,
it's not
dude.
just-
Let's
it's not
hear
just-
what. Let's focus
Oh, that was
on
your
the subject.
Talk
My
normal.
voice
Is that
modulator
a
is all.
So,
fucking
Mr.
soundboard button?
Mr.
Shut
Toy,
the fuck
what's
up.
the argument now since we have shown the
People,
the
pop
sunsets
people.
as well?
And can you provide some evidence for what you're saying? And can we focus back on what?
I
what's her name?
showed some sunsets from Ecuadorians, and I've also proven that the distance is further than you should expect it to be for there to be mountains there.
How have you
That.
proven the distances further?
I tried to show you, and then you tried to deflect by asking me for a picture. That's how.
God! Oh my gosh! You're right. I fucked
Yes,
up by
yes, indeed,
asking
it's
for
your-
an actual observation.
Yeah.
Back to me.
The thing is, yeah, the problem is not the asking in itself. If the question was relevant, your question was totally irrelevant. therefore
Totally
the reflection.
irrelevant to what we would see in reality is asking for a picture of what we would see in
We were
reality.
to-
Good point,
Brandon?
Lori.
Now you
Brandon,
switched to
what was the question about? Was the question
as
about
much as I can't stand
distance?
Lori.
10,000 kilometers.
Yes, the question was about distance. Is the distance more than 10,000 kilometers? So
Yeah.
is
Can you
a
show me a
picture,
picture of the sun setting at 10,000 kilometers?
Brandon, how
Yeah.
can a picture of a sunset prove
Well,
that the
you're
distance
saying
is
it's
more
not
than 10,000?
perspective based. You're using
Yes, but you
Euclidean
are
physical
asking
geometry
for a
to
retarded
assert your
form of
religion.
evidence.
So I'm asking you, can you show me a picture that shows me a unicorn.
So you are asking me to prove with a picture of a sunset that the distance between Ecuador and Philippines is more than 10,000 kilometers. Do you realize that that's a retarded question? So me being unable to give that picture to prove that,
skewed it a little, Lori.
It's a problem on you.
Well, he's saying he can't provide what you're asking for. He's saying it's inherently self-contradicting. So how do you guys adjudicate this?
Yeah, good question, Scott. Where you been?
I already gave the
sleeping.
picture on the chat, by the way. So that question is out of the question. So Brandon, you don't have any more deflections from the
Well, I guess you
distance
got no
question
fucking
then?
proof, Lori.
But I posted it, so I have proof.
Share it.
I shared it, so why didn't you look at it?
Oh, fucking share your screen.
Okay, I'm supposed to share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
10,000 kilometers from the Philippines. No
10,000
land
kilometers.
in between that is elevated.
By the way, this picture cannot prove that the distance is 10,000. Because that's a retarded thing to even expect.
Is it?
Because a picture
Then
cannot...
why are you making that claim, dude?
Look, it's a fact that the distance to the subsolar point is around 10,000 kilometers at sunset and sunrise.
And that's a nice fucking white
yeah.
night you're riding.
The retarded, Brandon, the retardedness of this discussion is on you. So basically, my claim is the distance is more than 10,000, and you are asking for something that cannot prove it, and you are acting like a child if I give you anything else. So it's like I'm saying that the distance is more than 10,000, and then you say, oh, give me chocolate, so
Is there a
that
way to
proves
measure
it.
the
And when I point at chocolate,
no,
giving you chocolate
no,
doesn't prove
no.
my point. The retardation is on you, sir.
So is there
Answer
not a
this
way to
question.
measure pixels?
Is geometrical,
If you are asking
physical,
for a
Euclidean
form of evidence
space
that
the
doesn't
same
prove the point,
as Lori, is
Lori.
geometrical physical space the same as perspective sight-based space?
What the fuck?
define those terms so I
Yes
can
or
answer
no?
the question.
Yes or no?
What do you mean yes or no? He asked you to
Define the
term.
question so I can answer the question.
How do you define those different spaces? Because he doesn't know there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you see, is it the same as what you measure?
How is this related to the 10,000 kilometer distance?
Are you fucking kidding me? This has everything to do
I am
with
not
the
kidding
sunset.
you because it's obvious that you
It's
are
always a
deflecting from
distortion.
the question. So what's the distance?
There's always a distortion, but something needs
Between
to be
What
there in
does
order for you to see
the
it in the first
term
place.
perspective
distorted or not.
distortion mean?
How is it relevant to the
It
distance?
means there's
What
something
does the
physical there
term
that's the light is
perspective
being distorted.
distortion mean?
It sounds like it
This
means
is the last
distortion
time
caused
I'm
by
asking.
perspective.
Derp.
Scott, you want to jump in?
I'm just saying it sounds like it means
That's it.
distortion due to perspective. Is that right?
Yes. What we see is not the physical reality of our world around us. Would you agree?
Okay. Well, most of the time, yeah. If not all the time, yeah.
Very close
And you
representation.
join
though.
that with compressed perspective also, right? Compression perspective.
Of course.
Okay.
And I proved that with my fucking
Yeah.
experiments, right?
And that's what we
The
see. What we
reality
see
of it
in
all
the
is we don't
atmosphere.
really see
Right, M.
anything
Scott?
particularly. It's all electric
I
signals
think
that end up going to the back of
it's
our
not
brain in the
perfect.
first place.
M.
It's not
Scott,
a perfect
that's
representation
why
of-
we see what we see, right?
What we see is not a perfect representation of reality. I agree with that. It's close though.
too.
But it's not perfect.
How is it close and how is it imperfect, Scott?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I think about things like when light reaches your eyes, some amount of time has passed since it bounced off whatever the object is. So the actual location of the object is wherever it was when the light bounced off of it, rather than where it is when the light reaches your brain. So everything you see is a little bit displaced because, light's fast, but it's not instant. And so things are moving, right? And so everything's just a little off. Now it's close enough where we can't really tell the difference, but nothing is actually in the place that we're seeing it because of
And
the
it's
fact that time is
bending,
fast.
too,
Great
right?
point.
And being
So
compressed.
I bought a sextant. It was about $60, and I said I'm going to buy a sextant, and I'm going to see where these swans are above my lake. And I measured them. I have a sextant. It's right over there on the shelf. So
I have a sex tent,
through
but
that
nobody will go
sextant
camping
and I
with me.
measure those angles. Is that reality, Scott?
I mean, yes and no. It's our reality because we only have our perspective to live in, right? So we see things as we see things, and that's our reality. Is there a physical reality that's slightly different than that? Yes, but we don't get to really access that. So it's there, but we don't really ever get to get at it, you know?
So what should we measure? Perspective reality or Euclidean reality?
Well, I think we should measure, I guess we should measure Euclidean to the best of our ability.
But if we see
recognize
in Euclidean, I mean, obviously we only have one, view given to us, and that's perspective reality.
Right.
Yeah.
This is still somehow.
You're roboting, Dave. Come back.
Dave.
The way, Brandon, I'm sharing my screen now, you can see the beautiful sunset from Ecuador. It works like everywhere else.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Scott needs to declare if Euclidean and perspective are the same or not, because everyone else was saying when they were, and we disagree, right?
Well, that's the difference.
I already said that.
Yeah, Scott admitted there's a difference.
Yeah, of course there's a difference.
Yeah, I think they're very close, though, and I think that your goal, right? Your goal is probably, I think your goal is going to be you want to get Euclidean to the best of your ability, which is to say, you want to get the thing that's going to hold up for multiple people in multiple positions at multiple times the most. So that would be like your perspective. The more your perspective is idiosyncratic or something, the worse that would be for measurement. I think something along those lines.
So if I assumed a globe when I started and I based everything I saw and I wrapped it around a fucking sphere, that would give me a skewed view of the Earth, right?
Well, would you first assume that it was a globe, or would you see things going down in all directions?
What's your assumption when you look out on the world?
To be inferred.
You never see that.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but you do.
I never see a globe when I look up.
You can walk up on a mountain from any direction, and it'll rise up from you'll see the peak, and then you'll see the base afterwards. You can come at a mountain from any direction, and that's going to be true. So how's my statement incorrect?
Oh, here's how your statement is incorrect. You see the world according to our vision, which is perspective based. We have a finite vanishing point. Reality and physical Euclidean geometry has a infinite vanishing point. Those two are at odds with each other.
Well, we can test that right now.
Never coincide, dude.
Check this out. We can easily test that, right? So stand on your head. Do you still see the sunset? Has everything been the other way now?
I'm still seeing through my perspective-based vision, dude.
It's testable.
Yeah.
Come on, Phil.
Stand on your head. You still see the sunset.
You're always looking to your perspective, and so there's always going to be some degree of disconnect between that and the underlying reality.
And then, Scott, you agree that light is always bending in a certain way, always being distorted, and always being compressed due to perspective, correct?
It's always doing something because of perspective. Is it always bending?
No.
I don't know for sure. I suspect it probably is always more or less, mostly. I wonder if there's some days where it isn't.
Contact, Scott, light bends
with a different medium
when it comes into contact.
Wow, do you think that Scott can't answer for himself, dude? I mean, do you really think that? Is that why you interrupted him?
No, shut
So I just wonder if, of all the days that we've had on the planet, are there any days where essentially there's just a uniform medium between you and something you're looking at, so that of course, it's never going to be perfect representation of reality, because again, it takes time for it to reach your eyes, and in that time it's moved. But is there some days in which it doesn't bend? Seems like maybe every once in a while that would happen. I don't know how we know, but more or less, I think the answer to your question is yes. It's always bending, distorting at some degree a little bit.
Thank you.
Again, though, I would like to add not much. I don't think, though, because we know from empirical practice that our measurements and things like they tend to work. Like if we say, I don't know, if we say something is a certain, if we use triangulation to figure out how far away an island is or something, and then we swim to it, it works out usually. We're not wrong about that over and over and over. So clearly these things are close enough to reality that we can sort of, assume that the reality and then do practical things, and the practical things tend to work out.
You have an amazing ability, Scott, to sound like you are speaking the absolute truth while you're talking absolute bullshit.
We assume and pretty close to
that is
to
true.
perfect.
Just pointing that out about
almost,
Jeremy.
No, but what I said is true, though. Like what I really said is true, right? We live our lives, and we just agreed we're never seeing the true reality, and yet it works out. So we're seeing something pretty close to the true reality, right? We're not running into cars. We're not, we do our lives, and it all seems to work out pretty darn good. So clearly, our estimations of where things really are is pretty darn good.
Clearly.
Come on, dude.
I mean,
you say logical fallacies all the time, Scott, and they sound so fucking reasonable.
What's wrong with that? I really don't understand. I feel like I'm saying something really.
No, I'm just saying you are so good. You have so much talent at saying bullshit and making it sound true.
I don't think that's true, though. I think I say things that are true.
No, because every time I call you out on a logical fallacy, you say that's not a logical fallacy.
Shut you out.
Well, what's wrong with what I just said then? Can we just focus on that? Because I don't understand why you're saying that now. Because what I said, I feel like it's true.
Do you speak in logical fallacy sometimes, Scott?
No, not that I ever aware of. Not that I ever try. Everyone's biased. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone can make fallacies. But I certainly don't do it as a rule or as a practice. And in this case, Scott, I don't understand why you're saying that.
You asked
him what CNN tell you the truth, Scott? Do you watch CNN?
Can you answer that?
No, hold on. Shut up, Curve.
Fuck you.
Scott.
Who's this fucking
CNN.
knucklehead?
Okay, that's fine. Do you watch CNN? What news network do you watch?
I don't really watch the news. If anything, I read like New York Times, the Washington Post, things like that. But I barely even read the news, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Those guys are experts at fucking putting out facts and making them sound like they're true, but they're not.
Can we talk about what makes what I said not true? Because I think it's true.
I'm just saying, Scott, you always accuse people of accusing you of using logical fallacies.
Though? We just asked
Are you accusing me of that? You keep saying around this topic, but you're not actually telling me that I did, and I don't think I did. So are you saying that I did?
All right. Next time you use a logical fallacy and I hear it, I'm going to point it out. And will you listen to me?
Well, yeah, of course. If you're right, you're not saying I did it right then. You're agreeing with me then.
No, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, what a contrarian!
Because I just got into saying a point that I felt was true, that I was trying to make, and I felt was an important point to make. And that's when you started saying this thing about how I always sound like I'm telling the truth, but it's
because your talent is sounding like you're saying the truth, but you're not.
Well, I think I am, though. Can you show me where I didn't just tell you the truth? Are you saying that what I said was false? Is that what you're trying to say?
You think the fucking Earth is a fucking ball, dude?
What I just said, though. All right, never mind.
That's why I said next time you do it, I'll point it out if you will listen to me.
Well, you can point it out, and if it's true and it makes sense, then of course I'll listen to you. If it feels like it's not true, I'll tell you that it doesn't lie, and I'll engage you with it. I certainly won't be rude or dismissive, but I may not agree. If you tell me something's a fallacy and I think you're making a mistake, I'll say so. But I'll try to hear you. I'll hear you with open ears. I'll be, I'll engage you with good faith.
You get paid the big money. Go ahead.
It's not beneath me to insult you.
I can to write fictional screenplays, not to lie on Discord. Anyway, I guess you're not saying that you disagree with what I said, and I think what I said was a fairly innocuous but important point.
Hey, Scott, can you see the diagram that I'm sharing?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
To look at it.
Okay, so what am I looking at here? Okay, I see it. Yeah. 10, 20, 30. Okay. Okay. What is the question?
All right. So look at this. This is a flat plane. This is an object moving far overhead down to a vanishing point. from a observer on a flat plane.
Got it.
All right. Do you agree or disagree with this diagram that this is what they would see?
So the object is the thing along the diagonal line, right? That all those colored dots are the same object moving down towards the horizon?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess, there's a accuracy of linear measurement to polaris. I guess that if it's moving a certain way, then as it moves, they're going to see something like that in the sky. A straight line. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Yeah.
At a certain height, at a certain distance, this is what that presupposes.
Scott, that is totally not accurate.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Who's talking to you?
That diagonal line is arbitrary.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
It's completely arbitrary. It's not at all. That does not line up to the angles that telescope tube would be pitched at to look at objects across that graph.
Hold on.
The telescope tube would be pitched.
Hold on. He said flat plane that isn't rotating, and some object could move in a way that would make that true. Yes or no?
But he's saying
yes.
Something at that.
So if you watch a jet, Scott, you've seen a jet like you look up in the sky and the National Guard or Air National Guard has jet exercise going on, and you see it. It looks like it goes down to the ground, away from you, right?
Okay.
All right. That's all this is representing.
Okay, you're saying as something moves away from you, it begins to drift towards the. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
in this case, the thing is actually moving down, though, right? This thing is actually moving diagonally down in this case, right?
It looks like it's moving down. In actuality, it's moving parallel to the ground, but it looks like it's moving down. That's all.
Is it moving at a steady rate?
Yeah.
And are those intervals that we're looking at steady intervals?
Yep.
Well, so I don't think that they would be evenly spaced like that then.
Well, it depends on the angle, because if you were here, they'd be different. If you were here, going down from 80, where it says 80 degrees, if you step down, obviously they wouldn't be equal intervals. It depends on the height of the object.
Yeah, Brandon, show him that other picture under the bridge so Scott knows.
No, I'm good, Jake. Thank you.
Oh, you don't want to? Why are you scared to show him that slide?
I'm actually interested in
because that slide makes it apparent why this graph is so not related to reality.
Jake, I like Scott's Hollywood work. I want to hear what he has to say. All right.
Well, I was going to add one thing to see if I understand, which is that if it's actually moving parallel to the surface, then each one of those intervals that you're checking to see where it looks like it is, each one of those is going to take a lot more horizontal distance than the last one. Because
exactly.
In order to get towards the horizon, it's got to go, farther and farther and farther away, right? Like the first 10% or 15 degrees is going to be quick. The next one's going to take longer. The next one's going to take longer. By the time you're getting really close to the horizon, it's going to have to go very long distance for you to see a perceived another 10-degree drop.
What about this picture, which shows jets coming at different angles?
Okay. Okay.
All right. What
so
you just said. Yeah. So why are these going at different angles into the vanishing point?
Because the planes are flying at different angles.
Why are they flying at different angles?
Because they're going to different locations. Yeah.
They're different heights, right? Height above the observer.
They also could be just crisscrossing each other in terms of their direction too, right?
No, they're all going parallel.
They are?
Yep.
Okay.
Parallel to what? The planet?
Parallel to Euclidean space.
Okay, so if you say they're all going to parallel, I guess I'll accept that. I would have guessed that they were crisscrossing, but okay.
That's what it looks like, right?
That being, I guess, yeah, because there's different.
At that
they're approaching that. They're approaching at different rates, yeah. So I would have guessed they're crisscrossing. Okay, so they're going parallel.
All right.
What's next?
So if I popped out a sextant out of my backpack and I measured these angles, what angles do you think I would get? Would they match Euclidean geometry?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that because I don't really know how you use a sextant.
All right, fair enough.
If you want, you can try to tell me real quick, and we can. I've never
my
used one.
contention is that perspective-based vision does not match geometry-based physical Euclidean reality.
And can you articulate what you think? What would be the disconnect? Like, what's the thing that's the easy way to say what's different between the two?
I think MC Escher got it best.
Well, I'll tell you what's different is perspective-based. The way we see has a finite vanishing point. Everything goes into the vanishing point. Geometry-based has no vanishing point. Everything moves farther away. The hypotenuse increases. It never goes to 0 degrees.
So can I tell you something that throws me off about all this? And this is just my lack of expertise in the area. But when we talk about, so this is something that always bugs me, and maybe one of you guys can help me adjudicate this. When we look at Euclidean geometry on, say, paper, it's subject to the same perspective rules as looking at perspective stuff. Like it doesn't avoid perspective. It's always being filtered through our perspective, right? So in Euclidean geometry, things that are farther away still appear to be smaller, and all that kind of stuff is still true, right?
No.
Isn't it also, no?
No. Here, look at this.
It's not,
though. So, it's a good question, though. Hold on. All right. So here's the difference. Here is not that one. Hold on. Here we go. So if I'm looking out at something, this is the difference. Ground. That's physical. Brandon,
what you don't get here is that if we were to actually create any series, like if we were to create those 1, 2, 3, 4, where those dotted lines are, the angles that we would calculate based on that Euclidean geometry would be exactly the angle that we would be looking at things. It would be the exact angle of that telescope tube. The telescope tube would not align at all to those solid lines. It would be exactly the way those dotted lines are, because the fact that you're looking at it through this Euclidean kind of a side view is still precisely how we see those items. We do not see them the way those arbitrary solid lines are. And if that wasn't true, you wouldn't be able to do surveying. With surveying, we can use those measurements and then go on this side view and then do the Euclidean geometry and calculate how tall items are or how big items are in the distance by just measuring their angle and knowing the distance to them.
Hey, Jake, you mean surveying where they assume that the Earth is a sphere?
No, I'm talking about local surveying where you assume that it's flat and you're just measuring things. You know, you measure a tree across a field and we want to figure out how tall that tree is. So we measure the distance from where we set up our theodolite or whatever tool we use to measure the angle. It could be a telescope with a level on it, right? You could use that tool to measure that angle and then measure the distance from where you have that tool to where that object is. Let's say it's a tree, and just do the geometry on a flat plane and you would get the exact height of that tree. That's what surveyors do all the time when they're on construction sites.
No.
Yeah, that's why they
don't.
put the flags on.
Absolutely.
You misinterpreted what surveyors do big time, Jake.
Can I add something respectfully, Brandon?
Well, I'd love to hear what Scott thinks, and I'd love to hear him acknowledge the difference between Euclidean and perspective-based representation.
I gotta say that the thing I was saying before about how if it was moving horizontally away from us, each interval would be bigger and bigger and bigger. That to me is what the dotted lines represent. You see how not the horizontal distances between, say, 9 and 10 and 8, 9 and 7 and 8, those are all exactly the same. But notice how where you see them, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of differential for you. And if you aren't seeing along the dotted lines, I think what Jake is saying is true. And the thing I'm saying about why it is you have to see farther and farther is another way to look at it, where you're seeing along those dotted lines. Otherwise, it'd be doing something weird in terms of like speed. Like somehow it would be.
Do you see what I'm sharing right now?
Yeah.
All right. So from the man's perspective, the distance moved is further. The closer the object moving away from you is to you. Okay. You're going to see a bigger visual distance. These green lines represent how that becomes smaller as it moves away from you. You see how they kind of get smaller as they go away from you? Yeah.
Is that plane actually moving in the horizontal on the top side?
Yep.
Or is that plane actually?
Yep. That's how we would see it. This is vision perspective based.
That diagonal is arbitrary.
I have one problem with that. I will bring it up at some point.
Go ahead. While you bring it up, it's okay.
Yeah, I would actually need the previous slide rather, because it kind of shows the point better. This has the same problem, but
I'll be right back in 2 minutes anyway.
This is good. This shouldn't take too much to say. So basically, if there's this kind of difference between the angles, then in the perspective vision and physical geometry, then what you would expect, for example, is you can never accurately aim at and hit a target. Let's say you're hunting a moose and you cannot hit it because your perspective misrepresents where it actually is, and that's not the case, and we know that.
Well, you have to add
so
shit
all
like
of these,
you
all
have
of
to
those
add
numbers
shit like,
on
Lori, you have to add shit like, oh, there's going to be so much Coriolis or Earth curve between me and then I've got to. It's all calculation based, right? And you can see in this diagram.
We're talking about looking down iron sights on a rifle.
At the 2, it gets a little bigger.
Even if it's
at the 3, it
calculation
gets a little
based,
bigger. It gets
nice
a little
deflection
bigger as you go along. And how far it is off the ground also changes.
Yeah, Brandon, you kind of
nice deflection, Brandon. Nice deflection.
When I was still talking.
Good point, Jake.
So
looking, he brought up a great example, right? If you're hunting ducks and you're hunting ducks and they're flying off in the distance and you aim your iron sights at the bird, you're going to hit the bird. If you line it up right, you will hit the bird.
You don't think you're going to hit the bird at this one?
No, because you obviously can't, because if you look at the lines, the numbers are not lined up. 2 is not where 2 is, and 3 is not where 3 is, and 4 is not where 4 is, and 5 is not where 5 is on the 2 lines.
What you see, Jake. You don't aim it at a fucking Euclidean diagram.
Brandon, are you implying that if that plane was at the number 10 on the top, that observer would have to be looking at the horizon to actually see it in reality?
Of course.
That is fucking horseshit. That diagonal line has arbitrary distance values, and then you're drawing an angle to some arbitrary line. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, Brandon, the debunk is the fact that...
What does this tell me?
By the way, Brandon, I had a correction to your diagram as well.
What is this fucking observation in the real world? Tell me.
So, Brandon, I can give you a correction to the previous slide.
If you do it on the if you turn it 90 degrees.
What does this observation tell me?
If you turn it 90 degrees and you plot it out in the Euclidean space, you will get exactly the decreasing angles with distance.
No, you won't.
Of course you will. Go ahead and do it. Turn it 90 degrees and work out the angles.
And you'll end up on a fucking ball that you're not on.
Oh my God! Now you're going to break down.
Intellectually honest, Brandon, you will take in criticism and you will correct your model accordingly. It should just be good for you because it might not necessarily mean that you come to a globe, but you just make a model.
By the way, Brandon, like I said before, you can absolutely measure an object a mile away and measure the angular difference from the bottom to the top. Let's say a building a mile away, and if you know that you're a mile away from that building and you know that angle, you can do the Euclidean triangle math, and you can determine the exact height of that building and confirm the fact that you do in fact see things the way that orthogonal Euclidean view maps it out to be, not in your arbitrary.
What do you see in this fucking picture? Do you see the jet lines going down into the ground or not?
Brandon, in order to correct for that effect,
I see jet lines going into the ground. Yes, I do. That's the answer. Yes,
Thank you, Brummy. Finally, some fucking sense.
Just liars, and like you can clearly see the lines converge down into the horizon and giving it the appearance of it going over a curve. When
Of
it's not.
course, and that's what we're measuring, the appearance.
But that doesn't mean you can turn that orthogonal and then just draw diagonal lines that go into the ground at some arbitrary distance and then measure those fucking angles.
That's what you're measuring.
Guys.
So fucking stupid. It's unbelievable.
Dude.
Yeah, Brandon.
We'll talk
do you
later,
want to hear
but
my?
you're wrong.
Brandon, do you want to hear my correction to the slide that you were on previous?
I want to hear your opinion, but go ahead.
It's actually an easy correction. So you had the dotted lines, and then you had the numbers on the downwards going slide. You need to move those numbers to where the dotted lines meet the downwards going. So the angle is not changing, and that corrects for that. That's an easy correction there.
Is this a Euclidean drawing or is this a perspective drawing?
It would be both, wouldn't it?
No.
Why not?
You need to be honest with yourself.
Because if you look at how much that, like, for example, if you look at the furthest tree in that picture, and we look at what does the angle represent within your field of view, and then you were to turn that and do a sideways angular calculation using Euclidean geometry, you would get the same angular size.
Prove it.
Guys.
That's exactly how surveying works. The entire construction industry is based on this fact.
If you assume you're on a ball,
no,
Jake.
We're talking about over a construction site where no curvature is taken into account. When you're building things that were a few hundred feet on a plot of land.
Just be honest, Jake. They assume a curved Earth. That's it. That's the truth.
No, they're not assuming the curved Earth when they're building on a lot that's 500 feet by 500 feet.
I don't see any fucking curves ever.
There's nothing to do with curves.
I agree. There's no curve. This is what. Be honest with me. Look, if it's a ball, right? If it's a ball, you can still be honest and say, look, we don't see any curve. We can't fucking measure any curve. It's just a load of bollocks that we have to believe.
If you measured the angle, if you were 100 feet away from a building and you measured your angle to the roof of that building, and then you had a guy standing a mile away looking from the side and measured that angle, it would be the same fucking angle.
Guys?
Yep. So Brandon is basically denying common sense because he doesn't want to.
You guys are denying that the convergence of the airstreams, they seem to go below the horizon in a straight line, and you guys just don't even admit what you're seeing with your own eyes. So how you expect anyone to just at least agree with what we're seeing here? You know, if you think the world's a ball, fine. But if you can see clear lines go below the horizon, and you're not even saying yes, it looks like it would be work on a flat Earth. Like if you only got that honesty in you, then like, how are we going to believe anything you say about the curve?
I agree with Brummy on this one.
No,
I mean, just denial.
Would always converge at the horizon if the Earth was flat. Parallel lines would never.
Where's the fucking curve? Where's the curve in this fucking picture?
Brandon just showed you on a graph how he measured it out and showed the angles. Then he showed you in the actual sky using jet streams going down into the horizon in straight lines. I don't get how y'all are denying at least that.
But Brandon, here's the thing: if we draw out the triangle of those lines, those jet paths, we assume the jet is 5 miles high, and we draw straight lines horizontal over the ground, and ignoring Earth curve, the fact that the plane is also curving as it travels away. If we completely ignore and even imagine it on a flat plane, once that plane is 60, 70, 80 miles out, at that point, that angle above the horizon would only be a few degrees. It'd only be 2 or 3 degrees above the horizon.
Where's the fucking curve in this picture, Jake? Jake, where is the curve?
Jake agrees with us too.
The fucking curve is irrelevant to this point. We're just talking about perspective.
We're talking about this perspective.
You say there's a curve. I don't see a fucking curve.
Now you're changing the topic. You're ignoring the fact that you're talking about those contrails, and the fact that if we do the math on it on Euclidean math on a side view of it, if we do the Euclidean math of a triangle of a plane that's flying 5 miles high, once you get to 60, 70, 80 miles, that angle does indeed go to just a couple of degrees, 2, 3 degrees, which means that from your perspective, it's straight ahead of you.
Yes.
And
The
it doesn't
higher
work
the
out
object
exactly.
is, the steeper the degree change.
But even if this is a flat Earth, you're still fucking this up. It doesn't matter
No.
if it's
Exactly.
flat. You're still
Yes,
fucking
that's
this up.
what we're trying to say. On the
It
flat
makes
Earth, this would be
sense.
totally wrong
You
still.
guys are fucked in the head. It all makes
If what you're saying is true, you would never be able to take an angular measurement of something and determine its height. But that's not true. They do it in construction all the time.
Look, it all makes sense, you fucking asshole.
No, it doesn't, because if what you say is true, you would never be able to take an angle of something and determine its size. But we know that's not true.
You're looking at fucking lines converging, and you're just saying, yeah, curvature. And if we do this, we'll see curvature. But look at what we actually are seeing. We're seeing things
Not
converging.
only that, Brandon.
Jay,
telescope.
you're shutting your mouth off, Jay. Let other people talk. Fuck's sake.
Brummy, we're not.
You've just been rambling for the last hour.
Brummy, we're not.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Jake. Jake, you should shut the fuck up for a bit.
Look, if you take a telescope if you take a telescope or a spotting scope, anything that can measure the angle of the elevation of the optical tube, you can create any kind of real world test of it and try to see if you can predict what that angle is. And all you have to do is do the Euclidean geometry on it from a side view, and that's exactly the precise angle that tube will be.
According to that plane diagram, our measurements of angles would be off by 45 degrees. We would see it at
You
the
have a
horizon,
major
exactly
problem
45
with
degrees
your
off.
assumptions.
This is absurd. I'm done.
No, stop, dude. Stop. Ping me.
So, Brandon Toy, have you ever shot a moose or some animal?
I went out and I shot the angles to a backstop on a baseball field.
Did you shoot an
Have you ever
animal
pissed
at
in the
some
wind?
point?
It never goes the direction that you expect it to go. Like when you piss in the wind.
It always goes in your face. You're right.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Check. Right, you got some really good evidence here, and you know, just keep working on it, bruv. Like they're not even willing to admit that what they're seeing is probably, you know, some of that's consistent.
This is good
with
evidence.
flat Earth. They just want to go, oh no, because of this, because of that. Look at them jet streams. They converge to a point. If you continue following them lines, it will give you the pattern.
You cannot be serious, Brummy.
No, I mean, seriously, if this is the way they fake the globe, this is how they did it, you fucking assholes.
Yeah, but Brandon, it doesn't work. For example, the angle difference doesn't exist, and you just went over.
Lori,
you blasted past it.
Hold
the
on.
Angle difference
Let me show you something. I got a question to ask you, Lori, because it's fucking really irritating. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple cubes. Right?
Cubes.
Right.
Yeah, cubes. Is there a difference for the man who's standing? You see where the man is?
I'm not actually looking at your screen. How?
I can't.
Look at my fucking screen.
It's not loading, Brandon. It's not loading.
Yeah, it's not loading. Yeah.
All right, let me do it again, guys. Sorry. Hold on.
You can describe it. Meanwhile, I'll tell you when it's popping up.
All right, hold on. I'll share again. Can you see it now?
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, yeah, we see it now, Brandon.
Yeah, cool. So, on the left is a Euclidean description of a cube, right? The blue angles are the same. The green angles are the same. The front and back square, this is how you should view it. This is the back. This is the front, are the same size. Perspective-based, which is how we see and how we measure our sight angles, would look like this, and it does in reality. The back is smaller, correct?
Can you? I cannot actually. I have to stop you there because I cannot agree with that. Can you prove that this is the perspective cube? Because to me, that previous one already looked like the perspective cube. This
this is a
looks
good
like
question.
a one.
This is how you see reality. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. My brother said that too, and it stopped me in my tracks because that's not how I see reality, Lori. When something's further away from me, I see it smaller.
If you stepped your brother,
yeah,
you
but
don't feel.
Brummy, when
Yo,
something's farther away from you, do you see it as smaller?
Smaller. Like when I look at lampposts, if I'm standing next to a lamppost, it's very large compared to me. Then look at lampposts all the way down, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller, where they converge into a single point where I can't really see past. And then if it past that point, it's disappeared, but it's not going over a curvature because it's flat.
Yeah,
it's just it gives the illusion it's going over something, but it's not. Whereas you look down a hallway, you see the same effect. This effect does happen. And people that are arguing the globe won't even admit, yeah, it does look like it's not curving, and it looks like this would be a good explanation. But they don't want to concede that because they don't even give any sort of credence or any sort of credit to this possible misconception that they have.
Hold on. It looks like the truth's about to come out right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. So listen, maybe we do see reality differently, okay? But what I'm saying is, this is how I see reality. When something's further in the distance, it literally looks smaller.
Okay,
This
I have
is
a question.
geometric Euclidean geometry on the left.
Why?
Okay, that's
why is literally such a big word for you right there?
Because
that's actually a bad question. Here's
on the right. This is how I see.
So do you own let's see dice? Do you see dice like the ones on like the picture on the left or the picture on the right?
The picture on the right.
Okay. Then I think your vision is somehow working differently than other people.
That's why I said
dice,
when my brother
dice
said
look
that,
like,
it stopped me in my
like,
tracks.
Yeah.
Lori, there may be
why,
different ways that we see reality.
So you are seriously saying
literally speaking, right? Literally speaking, what would it take to see a difference?
When something's further in the distance from me, it gets smaller. That's what this represents on the right.
But what if it goes?
Go ahead.
Like, for example, like a car would come towards you and get bigger.
Yeah. So if this square got towards me, it'd get bigger.
Yeah.
And we had this the other night, Brandon, where some people could see it either way, and I can't, right? So I think we do all see things in different perspectives.
I think there's a problem here. Didn't flat earthers up till now use the rules of artistic drawing to delineate perspective?
Artistic?
Artistic
or autistic?
Artistic. Artistic.
Okay.
Like art. So artistic drawing, you would actually draw the shape on the left, not the right.
These artistic.
And that's actually.
This is the artistic view, Lori, on the right.
Is it?
Yes.
So when you draw dice, you would
see
draw,
with your eyes.
The one. But I don't see that with my eyes. So
you
are you really saying that when you draw
a
dice? Yes. For example, when I look at the dice, that's how it looks.
Really?
It's an artistic.
No, wait. Hold on.
Wait.
This is important.
When he looks down a hallway, he sees that? There's no way. You have to imagine that man's looking down a hallway.
Which one?
This is the end of the hallway, Lori.
This is not a hallway. This is a cube.
Yeah, it's just
this
like
is a cube. Our hallways. My question is: are hallways cubes normally?
Yeah, kind of.
No, they are not. A cube by definition is the same way lengthwise and depthwise.
Yeah, but
and hallways are longer than they are wide. So what you are looking at here is a cube. It's not a corridor.
I think what he means is
you are being dishonest here, and you're being deceptive.
His perspective, if he represented as a cube. That's what he means.
Yeah, this is just to delineate perspective from
still
Euclidean.
isn't corridor isn't still a cube in any one's vision.
If you make
you
it
can
longer,
make
one
a
on the right,
cuboid corridor,
goodness.
but that's not how they normally are.
If you make it long, if you make both of them longer, you're going to say that the back wall gets taller and wider. There's no way.
Yeah, but we can talk about corridors and hallways later. Where we are talking about cubes now. So, are you really saying the cube is what we see on the right and not the left?
Yeah.
Can we have a vote on that? Is anyone else on of that opinion?
The white square is the front, right?
Where we're standing.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're not standing in the middle. We're standing at the front.
Wait, you're standing on a square. Where's the square?
Oh my God! You're standing.
I'm standing right here. Here's the square, right? The white square, and I'm looking down.
Where is the square?
Huh?
Oh, I see. Actually, this is a good point. I see what you did here. You draw on the left. You have drawn a cube. On the right, that's no longer a cube. You drew a corridor, and then you're conflating the two on purpose.
No, you're conflating the two. That's why I drew this fucking diagram, because my point is that Lori, listen to me. You're conflating the two. You're measuring the right one and saying it's the left one.
I just wanted to know where the
Toy, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not.
You said we are.
No,
okay, Brandon.
I'm not.
Let me clarify. Let me ask a clarifying question. So the left one is a cube, and the right one is also a cube.
Yeah,
right?
they're the same size. You just see one differently.
Okay, so why is the side the different size? Why is it longer?
That's perspective, not Euclidean.
So does perspective make a cube look like?
Look, Lori, look.
It's longer.
It's not longer.
It's longer.
No, it's not.
It's not longer.
That's not how you prove that it's not longer. You change the size as you
tell me how to prove it. You tell me how to prove it. It's not longer, dude. It's just a different angle.
Different angle, perspective. The ceiling is getting lower. The floor
angle is not different. The line is longer.
Brother, you're arguing with perspective.
Dude, this is how we see Lori. Come on, dude. Look,
it's futile.
I mean, this is the trick, Lori. This is what we've been trying to tell you guys forever, dude.
You are doing this on a streak, sir.
No. The line over there. Jesus, bro.
You are looking at the top, and I'm talking about the bottom lines. So can you do the same trick on the bottom lines?
Look, okay, it's longer, but it's not that much.
Okay,
look.
It's longer, so you admit that I was correct and you were wrong. Thank you.
Yes, but that's how we see reality, Lori. It's not longer.
It's not enough.
Euclidean physical base.
If you change the distances, you cannot say like obviously you are purposefully making it longer on the right.
Dude, I took this off of a Globe Believer website. This example. This is reality, bro. This is what we see on the right.
Then show me the website.
Oh my God, you're not working.
Are you serious, Lori? Come on, man.
Any difference.
A cube doesn't look like the one on the right.
It does in real life. That is what a perspective.
Dude, he's right. The cube doesn't look like the one on the right. That's why.
Yeah, it doesn't look. It doesn't look. That's right, because it's perspective. It looks different.
Yes.
A cube measures out Euclidean.
But we see through perspective, so it should like perspective.
The
right?
further distance we see away from us, the more distorted perspective. Makes what we see.
Hold on. That's very different to what he's saying.
Okay, tell me how it's different.
What he's saying is, you're at the cube that you're looking at. It's a cube.
Yeah, this is a Euclidean geometric cube on the left.
Right. It's a cube.
Yeah.
What
right
shape,
on the
what shape,
right.
what shape do you think it actually is?
Huh?
What shape do you think it is?
Cube.
It's a fucking cube.
All right then.
None of this matters. If you were standing in that cube in real life, and you were looking at the upper right far corner from that person standing, let's say in real life you measure 45 degrees up and 45 degrees to the right. You could represent that angle in either of these by drawing a line from that guy to the upper right hand corner. They would look different, but it's just because of the representation. Both of them would still represent the same angle in real life.
Really?
They would just look different because they're using perspective or not, but they would both be equivalent to a 45-degree angle.
Let me ask you something. What is the baseline from which the angle you're measuring is measured against?
It doesn't matter because...
Yes, it does. Of course it does.
The object is a cube.
Here, look. Okay, I'm measuring to the corner here. Am I going to measure the same angle? This is the baseline, the back of the cube. Here, let me make a fucking line down there for that. And I've got my sextant, right? This is the back. Am I going to measure the same angle up here?
Plus a diagram.
Yeah, so are you saying that because you draw the diagram differently, that would change the angle?
Bro, y'all are
in
losing.
real life?
Y'all are
Is that the
trolls. If
absurd
you don't
thing
think
you're
we
saying?
don't see in perspective, this is a troll.
We do see it in perspective. I'm not
All
arguing
he's
that.
showing. That is all
I know,
he's showing.
but my point is it doesn't matter
What are
because
y'all
both of these
arguing about?
both of these can be used to represent the same thing in real life. If you draw an angle from that guy to the upper right-hand corner, both of these are showing the same angle that you would measure in real life.
In physical reality. But what
Exactly,
are we measuring when we talk about fucking angles?
Hold on.
You're just representing them differently. Who cares if you represent them differently?
Physical reality. What type of reality are you talking about, brother?
Dude.
Optical.
When we look optically and use a sextant,
we're talking about
angle.
Reality.
What are we?
None of this optical, like CGI bullshit you're talking about. We're talking about real.
Yeah, we live on a flat fucking Earth. That's reality.
Oh my God, calm down.
We're talking about real itty.
That doesn't have anything to do with the flat or the curve. It has nothing to do with the flat or the curve.
Yes, it does. Look at this diagram, dude.
Yeah, you're showing one that's essentially orthogonal with no perspective and one that's with perspective, but they still represent the same real-world angle.
All right, let's draw some sight lines from this man to the angle. All right,
Brandon,
he's
what do
looking
you
up
think
here.
this proves?
What do you think it
What do you
fucking
think this
proves,
proves?
dude?
It doesn't prove
All right,
anything.
here we go.
It shows that you can represent things differently.
No, it shows that y'all can argue for 30 minutes that he's drawing perspective.
The fact that
Here we go. What angle is that?
The fact that you want to draw sight lines means that you appreciate that's reality.
Oh, you guys fucking stupid?
You would have to do some math to figure out what that angle would represent in real life. Just because they look different because you're representing them
math,
two ways
brother.
is irrelevant.
You know I'm not stupid, right?
Okay, how about if you made another cube that's viewed from the top? Then you wouldn't view any angle at all. It would just be a straight line. How about you do another one from the right side?
Are those angles
we are in no way trying to say you are stupid.
Are those angles the
I am
same?
not saying you're fucking stupid.
Good, because that would be a really dumb thing to say.
All right.
I have to once agree with you, Brandon. Those angles are not the same. The reason is the other one is not a cube.
If I was to say you're fucking stupid, then I'll be saying it in a totally different way.
Okay.
So happy for you, bro.
So Brandon, if you were to draw another one of these from a top-down view, it wouldn't be anything but a straight line, right?
We're talking about this view where we.
I know. I'm just making a point. Okay, if you viewed it from the top, it would just be a straight line across. Does that change anything about what the angle would be in real life? Does it have any relevance to what's going on in real life?
No.
So you're just representing it differently. So it doesn't matter then.
But we're measuring what we see.
In real life, we're measuring what we see, and then you're just choosing different ways to represent it on paper.
Do you see this?
See how the measurements would be wrong if you measured that cube by what we see? You
The
see how
angle
it
is
would be
different
wrong?
because the other one was not a cube.
Do you see? Negator, Mr. Buffingers. Fucking angle difference.
Yeah, the angle difference is because the other one was not a cube.
Look, all right, I'm gonna turn
I'm trying to do
this
that fucking highest IQ. I'm trying to work out that puzzle, man. But you know what? It's just there seems to be a lot of different things going on here. We've got fucking 12 times fucking 8, which is more than that. Then you got the remainder going to 9. Then the 9 times 61, and there's a remainder of 3. 9 times 60. Sorry, 7 times. Yeah, 7 times is 63. So the 3 gets carried over. Then the 3 times 24.
Dude, use a calculator, bro.
What are you
I
doing?
know I ain't got a calculator. I'm just chilling. But like looking at it, yeah, I just thought 80. But now I'm looking at it thinking maybe if the remainder of 3, there's nothing to carry over. I don't know. It's baffling me, man. It's a good question.
Stop.
Rummy, but when you talk about squares and stuff, the carryover is not a thing. The decimal point is the actual answer. You don't
have you looked at the thing, the hexagon thing that he's got that they put up to solve this highest IQ question?
You're essentially looking at similar triangles when you look at and when you start taking lines out. When you start taking lines out from a central point, it's all about similar angles and shit like that. So, you know, there's no remainder. It's always you use the decimal points, bro.
Hey guys, do you see the white angle and the red angle?
They look different on paper. Difference. You made a big point by showing they show different on paper.
The angle is different
look at them differently.
Yeah,
the other one is not.
They are different. Thank you very much.
But they both represent the same real world angle.
Yes,
they both represent the same real world angle.
Physical geometry.
But like he said, one's a cube.
One's Euclidean and one's perspective. They're the same thing. They just measure differently.
Do we need him to explain it to you again?
Yeah,
sure.
Sure. Yeah, let's hear it. Tell me which one's wrong. Tell me what presentation.
Can you explain to him about this cube again, please?
Yep.
My man who used to talk about the cubes.
But here's the point, dude. If you gave both of those pictures to somebody and had you build a 3D model of it, they would come out identical.
Yeah, no shit, because 3D models are built against reality, dude. That doesn't prove what reality is.
So you're just showing things on paper in 2 different perspectives. Who cares? What does that prove?
This is fucking basic geometry. You guys can't even fucking say, yes, you're right, basic geometry.
I don't know what the point is. That's my point. My point is you're not proving anything.
What is the point you're trying to prove is correct?
The point is, in reality, you're measuring to perspective, and you're not taking an account of the perspective view. It's not reality.
But this is just
measuring the wrong angle.
If you're talking about a cube, how many perspective views do you have of a cube?
Every single time you view a cube this big, if you're this man, you're viewing a perspective cube.
No,
every time you look at a building down the road, you're seeing a perspective view.
Go inside a warehouse.
Does the cube have?
Go inside a warehouse.
It's not a cube. It still isn't a cube on the right.
Oh my God!
Are you serious, Laurie?
You can't just join it now.
I'm serious.
When I asked you to fucking talk, you sat in silence, and now you want to talk, bitch?
Who do you think you are?
So, Branch, is it me that you are shouting at?
Yeah. When I asked you to talk, you sat in silence, and now you want to talk.
If you get butthurt about that, that's fine with me. So I can present my screen too.
If you want to continue talking, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to continue talking.
Keep these guys in
silence like that, and don't start talking in the middle just because now you feel you want to join in.
Keep these guys under control, Branch.
And Branch you didn't actually ask me to talk anywhere, so you can shut the hell up.
No, you know what? We don't really need your help. Essentially, all the shit you're trying to say.
I don't care about your opinion, Brand, so you can shut the hell up.
All right, well,
just
go ahead and
Lori,
so
listen,
I'm scared.
I
I'm
understand being a
sharing
little
my
hurt
screen
because we just
oh no!
But be real about it, dude.
Yeah, I'm real. So I'm sharing my screen. There are two guys here, and there's a road. And by the way, if you can pay attention to this, I'm going to sleep anyway.
It makes it easier. It makes life.
It doesn't take but like 30 seconds. So there's this guy, and there are these roads here.
Rummy, you're hot.
One of these roads are these roads
I don't think they care anymore. You should have said this 20 minutes ago when I said, "Hey, you got something to say, brother?"
No.
You should have asked me then. I didn't hear you, so I apologize. And
okay, I got it.
I'm presenting. Yeah.
I see. My bad.
Two
guys,
which don't reflect reality. Tell us about these fucking
guys, shut the
parallel
hell up.
lines that don't reflect reality, Lori.
Yeah, this is a guy. He's running a race. This is a second guy. He's running a race. Is the race the same distance? Is the same distance as this other race? Are these the same distance? Like these should be the same length, right?
All right, I'm gonna back up from
it's not longer.
To your fucking geometry.
Holy fuck!
Dude,
yes,
let him talk.
There's no the parameters. This is the same
Why
distance.
don't the lines meet?
Here. These are the same distance lines. There is no difference. These are the same distance here. These are not longer lines.
Yeah,
I can show you the relevance in a different picture here. So this is a cube. These are lines, right? That's I'm going to draw the bottom here, and then this line here, it's not longer. We can clearly see it's not a longer line. Not
the same.
Neither of what you drew is a fucking square. On the left certainly isn't a square. So which one represents reality, Lori?
Shit.
So are you saying that this here on the right, it's not a cube, right?
Are you finished drawing it?
Yeah, I don't need to draw anything else. Like this line is obviously the same distance as this one. These are the same length. This length,
cube,
I can move this here. Move this here. Sorry. Okay, yeah, we see it's clearly the same length. Yeah, so these both are cubes.
What?
Cube.
What's
and
the
this
same
is a
The
cube.
cubes. The
Yeah, can't you see this one here on the right? It's a cube. This is
somebody translate this Glober fucking dumbassery for me. I'm not getting it.
A square.
I'm doing the same thing as you did, Brandon. I'm just drawing like your lines here in the bottom are as well. They are not the same distance. I just drew it in an exaggerated way to show that the lines are not the same distance, you idiot. So the other one on the right is not a cube. If you say the other one on the right is cube in your picture, this is a cube as well.
Okay, fantastic. So the angles to different points on this cube are not going to be the same between the two, right?
So I'm going to sleep now, but one question before I go. Is the right in your picture a cube, and is the right on my picture a cube?
You don't have a single cube on this fucking screen right now, Lori.
So I should be showing your screen right now, right? Is this a cube?
Go back to the drawing board. Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, so is this a cube then?
Asking you a fucking question for ages.
What do you mean?
It doesn't make any sense to me, Lori. Honestly, just think about it overnight. Tell me tomorrow, dude. I'm happy to hear it.
I can clarify it for you now quickly. So you said this on the left.
I think Brandon, you guys need him to clarify for you right now.
Brandon, the one on the left is according to you a cube. The one on the right also according to you is a cube. But in order for that to be true, the lines on the bottom should be the same length. If they are not, the one on the left, right isn't a cube.
No,
like we can see clearly on your picture, the line on the bottom of the cube is longer on the other one.
All right,
so
you're
it's not
saying
a cube.
because the distance to the background isn't uniform with the front that it's not a cube?
So basically, the cube has an ass. The square has an ass. It's a cube.
I think I see.
So you cannot basically draw cubes. Then the angle is different because you didn't draw a cube on the other one.
I drew a cube wrong. Just go to sleep, Lori.
If
yes,
the
you drew a cube wrong.
Square
That's
doesn't
not
have
my
an
fault.
ass. It's a flat ass. Then it's a square. But if it's a big ass, it's a cube.
So, Branch, what's your opinion? Is the one on the right actually also a cube?
I mean, I personally think that, based on perspective, if you're looking at a cube, you would actually see a cube.
The one on the right is slightly.
Why is the width and the height different, Lori?
It doesn't change Brandon's point, though. He's not trying to say this is a perfect cube and that's a perfect cube. He's just trying to show the difference between a cube, orthogonal, and a cube with perspective. Just because the one on the right might be a little rectangular, if you were actually model that out, doesn't change his point. He just wants you to consider them both as cubes.
Thank you.
No, it
for the
isn't.
sanity.
Here is how it's relevant. That changes the angle.
But the angles would still be different between the two, so it doesn't matter how much. He's just trying to show that the angles would be different. So he's saying, consider these are both cubes, one orthogonal, one perspective, and you'll see that they are different. Doesn't fucking matter if it is a perfect cube or not, either one of them. He's just
doesn't matter.
And
that's not his point.
And by the way, my fucking what I'm saying is backed up by PhD research. Blah 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 blah. If you
okay, then you can show that maybe.
No, because then you'll say,
by the way,
the side angles are the same.
By the way, Brandon, earlier you tried to, when I said this point about the lines, you tried to move the lines and show that the lines are the same.
Just
so you didn't even understand my point.
Dude, stop. Stop.
What if you're inside the cube and you're looking outwards?
I don't even know what point he's trying to make anymore. Honestly, Phil like destroyed him, and he just keeps going.
It's pointless. It has nothing to do with the point you're trying to make.
How did you destroy me when you couldn't draw a cube correctly? You said these were both cubes.
Lori, fuck.
That's true, dude. He did say, "Can you draw a cube?" and you couldn't do it.
Who, I couldn't?
Yeah, you drew like a rectangle or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
I showed you guys my picture of cubes drawn both ways.
It wasn't a very good cube now, was it?
Do you guys want me to draw a cube different? I can. You guys don't think my cube was good? I can do it.
Too fucking late now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not a cube for sure. That's a rectangle. But gotcha. I'll try it better next time.
Basically, what he's trying to say is a 3-dimensional square, right, is what?
Cube?
No. It's just a square.
Okay.
I'm still swearing I shouldn't be.
Just because these look different on paper doesn't mean that they represent two fundamentally different things in real life. And that person, that viewer, would still measure the same angles in reality.
Phil, I just almost threw my chair through the fucking window. Give me a fucking break, dude.
What is... I just don't see what your point is.
We're measuring what we see. We're not measuring reality.
There's no need to fucking shout.
I tried to back up from the mic, but fuck.
You're saying that little guy is the measurer.
Yes.
Right? And in both of these, no matter how you represent them, that guy is going to measure the same angle. It's not like his reality changes.
No, he will not.
Okay,
no.
Well, then we fundamentally disagree, and you're a fucking moron. Sorry.
No, Phil, that's the fundamental disagreement. That's it.
So you think the way I draw some shit is going to change what happens in real life?
No, I think you can change what happens in real life by drawing it in a different way.
That is the dumbest fucking thing
No,
I've ever
it's
heard,
not,
Brandon.
dude.
You
No,
might want
it's
to
not.
sober up and
You're
rethink that point.
representing what happens in reality incorrectly when you draw it in orthographic view.
You can draw it however you want it. If you hand that one to a guy and say, this is an orthographic view and I want you to build it, and then you hand the one on the right to a guy and say, this is a thing in perspective view, I want you to build it, they will make the same thing.
So orthographic and perspective view are the same according to you, Phil.
No, you fuckwit. They're just different ways of representing something.
But they look different on paper?
Yeah, they look different on paper, but that doesn't mean that they change the
So
angles
they have
in real life.
different angles on paper,
No.
but not in real life.
That's correct. They're representing the same fucking angles, and they're going to look different on your piece of paper or on your computer screen. But if you built both of those things, they would be fucking identical.
How can they have different angles in real life as opposed to paper, but be the same thing?
Why does a square in orthographic view essentially is just 3 squares, right?
What?
If you think that this somehow backs up your other airplane angles to Polaris shit, you're just wrong. You're making
No, you're
horrible
wrong,
basic
Phil. I know you love the ball, but you're wrong.
But this has nothing to do with ball or flat. You're
Yes,
just making
it
a
does.
basic error.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
This
let's say,
everything.
check this out. Okay, the Earth is flat.
Yep.
You're still wrong about this.
No, the Earth is flat, and this is how you guys are fucking trying to trick us to think it's a ball.
By knowing how geometry works, we're trying to trick you?
No, by incorrectly telling us how geometry works.
Your diagram shows that I would see an angle off by 45 degrees.
I'm sorry, but
You think
that was
that I would
really,
see
really
an
well
angle?
said, Brandon. You actually countered his points, and he's trying to get you on something, just threw it back in his face. That was really clever. What you just said.
Phil. I mean, Phil's my friend, but I just don't. I know he's coming from a
Wasn't
good
well
place.
said at all, man. Come on. We're still looking at a fucking square, and you're trying to say the square, right, is a circle. It's not. It's a square.
That's what I'm saying to you. Wait a minute. Are we on the same team?
You're trying to tell me that square is a circle.
I am.
Square.
I'm trying to tell you we're standing on flat ground. You're trying to turn that into a giant spinning, floating fucking sphere.
But what is that
going
do
through
with it?
infinity?
What
And
does that
I'm
have
the
to do
bad
with
guy?
How did the square become a circle?
Good fuck. I just showed you. Geometry.
Answer.
It's so simple. It's stupid.
I mean, that didn't really sound right. You was doing really well as well. That what you just said there was kind of counterproductive. It didn't really make sense.
Yeah, that was pretty.
A square is a circle. What do you mean?
So wait, if I make this cube, if I 3D model this cube, say the one on the right, I 3D model it, and then I take a picture of it, and then I turn the camera a little bit in the 3D modeling program. I take another screenshot, and I keep turning it so that it looks different, and keep taking snapshots of it. Then I hand it to a bunch of different guys and tell them to build one. Right? They're all gonna turn out the fucking same.
Phil, the angles will change every time you turn the camera. That's the
So
point.
do you think it changes what the object is?
No, of course not. That's
so then
what I'm trying to distinction between physical reality and perspective.
Because of perspective, the square becomes a circle. Kind of makes sense.
You're not helping, Branch.
Exactly. A flat line.
All I heard when you said a square becomes a circle, you're basically saying when you use geometry, you get the true shape of what you're actually seeing, and what you just provided was.
No, but you're forgetting a perspective, Brummy.
I ain't forgetting nothing, bitch. I'm just saying what this guy said. He just keep going proof. Go proof. You just keep going. He said when you use geometry, what appears to be square turns into circles. So. Yeah. He just kind of like backed up geometry when he said that.
Hey, Brummy, why do you think the G is in the middle of the square?
I'm looking at your screen now. Though. You're looking at your demonstration.
I'll show. Hold on. I'll
What am I walked
on my
into?
screen. But the G stands for geometry, right?
And the square is a circle.
Hold on, Curve. Can you get up? Hold on, Curve. Why are you getting yourself involved? I'm halfway into a conversation.
Do you see this? Hey, Curve. I know you know what this means. Do you see this?
I'm looking at your demonstration. What you showing me?
Makes sense. Is there evidence? I want to believe too.
Is there evidence? You don't have to believe anything. This is what they say. Do you see this? This is what's called a square. This is a compass. This makes a circle. This makes a straight line. This is the reality we live on. This is the imagined world as it should be. G means geometry. You can read that for yourself.
I can't see in your mind. What is this?
It's a circle.
Don't worry about
have
it.
to
You're
look
old
at
age,
your
Curve.
stream.
Don't worry ahead with it, Curve. It's too complicated for you.
I'm not plugging into your stream. It screws everything up.
It's too complicated for you, Curve. Don't worry about it.
So,
you don't understand
Brandon, if we do a show on rotation on Monday, will you promise me to have a few drinks before it?
Are you trying to ask me on a date? Are you trying to ask Brandon on a date?
Well, that's a separate issue. We're talking about doing rotation on Monday. I want to make sure that he's in shape.
Sounds to me they're trying to get you looking up, bro.
But
Brandon, it sounds to me they're trying to get you looking up.
It's not that funny. Ranch, it's not that funny. It's okay.
No, no, I'm not. No.
Yeah, Branch, you do drag jokes a bit too much, don't you, Branch? You know, especially when they're not funny. You keep dragging them, bro.
I know, dude. But here's the thing: is like, what else
do it, man?
Talk about tonight?
Why'd you do it, though, man?
Right?
Why do you do it?
Yeah, but what else are we gonna talk about tonight, man?
Titties.
Right,
the curvature of titties, man. That's what I want to see. The curves.
What we're talking about right now is actually a little bit funny.
Huh?
Like if you have the right mind point